Let's talk about a really powerful idea. In a world that's all about having the right answer, what if the smartest thing you could possibly say is, I don't know? It sounds kind of backward, right? Well, let's dig into why it might just be the key to thinking clearly.
Okay, so just think about this crazy paradox for a second. On one hand, we have done something straight out of science fiction. We've created artificial intelligence. That is a monumental achievement. But on the other hand, our own planet's oceans, we barely know what's down there. The vast majority of it is a complete mystery. And that one simple contrast, well, it sets the stage for everything.
And it gets even deeper. We're out here talking about building a superintelligence, something that will blow past human thought. But wait a minute, we still can't explain the very thing that's doing the thinking, our own consciousness. What is it? How does it even work? We've got theories, sure, but no one has the final answer. This huge gap between what we want to build and what we actually understand about ourselves, that is crucial.
So why does this gap even exist? Well, it leads us straight to the core problem we're looking at today. We have this deep-seated tendency to just pretend we know more than we do. And it's all fueled by a culture that often gets confidence and actual knowledge completely mixed up.
This quote absolutely nails it. I mean, think about it. Our society often rewards the person who sounds the most sure of themselves, the loudest voice in the room, not always the person who's actually got the facts right. And that creates this weird environment where pretending to know everything is a better strategy for getting ahead than just being honest and admitting you're not sure.
We make these huge claims all the time, don't we? We act as if we've completely mastered our own planet, as if we've totally cracked the code on intelligence, history, even our own minds. It's a very confident posture to take.
But then, you put that up against the reality of where we are. And the disconnect is, well, it's just massive. We can't fully map our own oceans. We can't explain consciousness. We can't account for all of human history, or even agree on where we came from. That gap between what we claim and what we actually know is a canyon.
And this is the most important part to get. Not knowing things, that's not the problem. That's totally natural. It's the starting line for any real discovery. The real danger, the real issue is the pretense. It's when we act like we have it all figured out that we stop thinking critically. And that's when we become really vulnerable to some extreme and, frankly, dangerous ideas.
So, how do we fix this? We need a new way of thinking, a method for dealing with all this uncertainty honestly. So let's look at a simple but really powerful framework that can bring some clarity back into the conversation. Let's call it a toolkit for truth literacy.
You know, this toolkit is incredibly useful. If we can just start sorting ideas into these 4 different buckets, we can have much more honest conversations. You've got your facts. That's the bedrock, the stuff we've actually measured and documented. Then there are theories, our best working models, but they're not the final word. Hypotheses are the educated guesses we're still testing out. And then you have the unknowns, and that's where we need the humility to just say, you know what? We don't know yet.
Okay, so that's the theory. Let's see how this actually works in the real world. We're going to apply this whole mindset of intellectual humility to 2 huge topics where, let's be real, overconfidence is everywhere. Our understanding of our own planet and the future of AI.
First on the list, the ocean test. This is a super simple reality check for anyone who thinks humanity has pretty much achieved total mastery over our world.
Just look at that number, over 80%. Let that sink in for a minute. The largest, most dominant system on our entire planet is almost entirely unknown to us. It's kind of crazy, but it's true. We have better maps of the surface of Mars than we do of our own ocean floor. This leads to a pretty powerful question, doesn't it? If we're still so in the dark about our own home, how can we really speak with absolute certainty about anything? And look, the point isn't to reject science, not at all. It's about being responsible and questioning claims of final, total knowledge. And now for the second test, which brings us right back to where we started, the AI test. This one really challenges all the hype around artificial intelligence and this idea that it's going to become some kind of ultimate authority on what's real. Let's just start with this basic premise. We, the people building these tools, do not have a full grasp on these fundamental concepts. I mean, we can't code consciousness because we can't even properly define it. We are learners with enormous blind spots. So here's the logical conclusion. Can a tool, an AI, that's built with our data, our assumptions, and all of our built-in limitations truly go beyond them? The argument here is no way. A tool that's created by learners can't magically become the final word, which means we have to stop pretending we've reached the finish line of understanding.
So where does all this leave us? Well, this whole framework isn't about giving up on knowledge. It's the exact opposite. It's a powerful invitation to just start thinking again, but this time from a place of honest-to-goodness curiosity.
And just to be super clear, embracing I don't know is not about getting tangled up in conspiracies or rejecting science. No, it's about finding a clear path forward, one that's built on intellectual honesty, asking genuine questions, and respecting evidence. You know, the very things that make the scientific process work in the first place.
This quote really gets to the heart of it all. The moment we start saying, oh, but everyone knows that, we stop thinking. We just accept something without questioning it. And that is the true danger that this entire mindset is trying to fight, the tyranny of just assuming something is true.
And that's the ultimate takeaway here. Saying we don't know isn't a sign of weakness. It's not an admission of failure. It is a declaration of intellectual freedom. It's the real starting point for all genuine discovery, and it's the very first step toward thinking clearly again. Because after all, learning never, ever ends.